Hi, Steve Howland here for DiecastAirplane.com and other websites that sell collectible scale model airplanes. Over the years I've been in business, we've sold thousands and thousands of scale model airplanes, and one of the most common scales that we work with is 1/400 scale models, and that's mostly airliners, but there is some military stuff in that scale. Sometimes people who are new to the hobby find that they don't understand how different airliners can be such differences in size even though they're the same scale. From people sometimes call and say, well, how big is a 1/400 scale airliner? That's actually difficult to answer because it really depends on what kind of airliner you're talking about. So we've done a little video here to line up some 1/400 scale models and show the relative difference in size so that it'll help you to understand that a 747 is quite a bit different in size than a Bombardier Q400, even though they're in the same scale. I'll go get some models out of my own collection and we'll line them up on the showcase in the showroom and take a look. So here's a lineup of the 1/400 scale, mostly Boeing series, except I threw one Canadair regional jet in just for reference. And you can see the vast difference in size along the Boeing scale, and especially down to the regional jet. Let's look a little closer at each of them. So the Boeing 747 here, typical 747 in 1/400 scale, is about 7 inches long. And if you move yourself down the line, here's the 777-200, and it's just about the same length as the 747. 787, still a wide-bodied model, but shorter by a little bit. 767, shorter still. And of course the 737, which we've all flown quite a bit on. This is the 737-800, so it's a fairly long version of the 737 at about 4 inches long. The 733-300 is about 3.5 inches long. And of course, a Canadair regional jet, only about 3 inches long, maybe a little bit more than that. Here's a close-up down the line from biggest to smallest. And looking the other way with the CRJ in the foreground and the 747 down at the other end of the row. And in the Boeing series, if we put the 737 right next to the 747, you can see the big difference in size, even though these are in the same scale. Another lineup I'd like to do is the Airbus models. I've actually left the Boeing 747 on the end here, just so you can get an idea of the similarity in size between that and the A380. The A380 is just about the same length as the 747. Of course, it has a much bigger fuselage. And actually, if we hold them one in front of the other, you will see that the wingspan of the A380 is quite a bit bigger. I think it's skewed a little bit by this video, but it is quite a bit bigger wingspan than the 747. And if we go down the line of the Airbus models, here's the A380, the A340-600, again very similar in length to the A380, just with a much narrower fuselage. An A330-200, we're getting smaller as we go, and an A319, similar in size to the A320, also pretty similar to the Boeing 737, in this case probably the 737-200, and again the regional jet here, which actually looks similar in length to the A319. It is a little shorter and then much smaller fuselage and a much shorter wingspan. So there's the lineup down the line there with the A380 and the 747 down at the end from this direction and from the other side. It's probably also good to show these with a 12-inch ruler just for reference. Again, this is in the 1/400 scale. So if we put the ruler on the end here, you can see that the 747 and the A380 are about 7 inches long. The A340 is about 7 inches long also. That would be similar to the Boeing 777. The A330 is about 6 inches long, a little bit shy of that maybe, and it is similar perhaps to the 767. And the A319, about 3.5 inches long, and that would be similar in length to the 737, the early versions of that. The later versions are stretched a little bit in the 737. There is a scale chart also on our website in the information section, which you can look up scales for most of the common airliners as well. And we'll do one more lineup in the 1/400 scale here, and kind of a mix. I'm going to leave the 747 down the end, but put in some other airlines and also some military models. Down at the end here, we're going to actually start with the Convair 340-440, and my dad flew these for American back in the 50s. And some military models, big difference in size between the C-130, this is a C-130J with multi-bladed props on there, which are really look really cool, and the C-17. I actually don't have any C-5s in stock at the moment. They sell pretty fast when we do have them, and they're quite a bit bigger than the C-17 as well. And I've actually got out some scale vehicles to go along with these. I love this nice looking old Hawaiian DC-10-30 with a set of air stairs going to it. American MD-11 with a food truck lined up. As a kid, I flew with my family an awful lot on American Airlines. Good memories of those. And of course back here with a 747 with a jetway going to it, loading up people. So there's a good sample lineup of 1/400 scale models. You can see that they're quite different in size. And what's interesting is as you go to larger scales, such as 1/200 or in the military 1/72 scale, the difference in size is really even more dramatic. And we'll do another video soon to show some sample models in larger scales.